Story 1. Placing an ice pack on your chest can almost immediately relieve the need to throw up in some circumstances, like motion sickness, panic attacks, or medication nausea. The reason this works is that it stimulates your vagus nerve. I learned this firsthand when I was about to vomit in a hospital, and the nurse placed a cold pack on my chest. I instantly felt fine again. Story 2. If you think it would be at all challenging, a simple rule would be anyone over age 50, get fully on the floor and back up again every single day. You really don't want to fall and then realize that you can't get yourself back up and to your phone for help. Practicing so that it isn't terribly difficult ensures that you will still be able to do it even if you have a mild injury from the fall. Story 3. If you feel lightheaded as you stand up, known as orthostatic hypotension, you can squeeze any muscle as hard as you can, and it will quickly raise your pulse and blood pressure so you do not black out and fall. Story 4. When you are walking and someone else is walking toward you in the opposite direction, direct your focus on the side you intend to pass on where you want to go. They will subconsciously pick up on your body language and you will never do that awkward, "Oh sorry, excuse me, oops" sidestep thing again. Story 5. If you have lower back pain or sciatica, try gluteus medius burnouts. Use a chair or table to steady yourself and raise one leg straight out to the side as high as you can, holding it until it feels like your hip is on fire and trying to cramp. Repeat on the other side. Sounds crazy, but it can eliminate lower back pain instantly. Story 6. Place hands palm down on a sturdy surface and push up while letting all the muscles in your abdomen, hips, and legs go limp. It will decompress your spine from your neck down to your tailbone. For someone like me, it feels like your spine is an accordion toddler toy being pulled. Story 7. If your fingers are cold, put your arms against your body to the sides as if you were a little soldier standing at attention. Then, with your wrists still touching your pelvis, lift your fingers up so that your fingers point to the side. Then start shrugging your shoulders up and down, and you can feel the warm blood rushing to your fingertips. Story 8. Knowing what food or drink affects your digestion shortly after consumption is a game changer. For me, it's like 2 strong cups of coffee, but it also depends on whether I haven't had a bowel movement for almost a day or so, have a big trip coming up with a long ride on a train, bus, or flight, or going on a long hike. No problem. I drink 1 or 2 strong cups of coffee in the morning, take care of my bowel movement for the day, and don't have to deal with unpleasant public toilets. Now you can avoid going to terrible public toilets. Story 9. Next time you have hiccups, just keep repeating to yourself, "Hiccups are not real. I am not a fish." Hiccups are thought to be an evolutionary remnant of gill breathing. Works every single time. Story 10. You can make shocking and crazy improvements to how you feel by doing 3 simple things. Drink enough water to stay hydrated. This isn't just carrying a bottle around. Your pee should be a little bit yellow and very clear. Sleep. For best practice, sleep with no stimulus, no noise in the background, no lights, no mobile phone. Get some intentional exercise in daily. A 4th is avoiding processed foods, but that is usually more difficult than the first 3. Story 11. If your heart is racing and you can't calm down, stick your head in cold water. It will stimulate a vagal response through the mammalian dive reflex and lower your heart rate. And obviously, go to the doctor to get checked out afterward. Story 12. I've been dealing with plantar fasciitis, and my physical therapist literally has me just stretching my calves, and it's working. If your feet hurt, try stretching your calves. Story 13. If you start eating at set times each day, pretty soon you will not feel hungry except at those times. Your stomach and gut biome produce the hormone ghrelin, which causes you to feel hungry, and the production of it becomes entrained to the times when you usually eat. For instance, if you think that you cannot go to bed without eating a snack before, which is actually not a good idea, if you can just tough it out for a few days, the urge to eat before bed will pretty much just disappear. Doing this also makes it much easier to resist mindless snacking and is much healthier for your body for a bunch of reasons, blood sugar spikes being a big one. Story 14. If you are having a panic attack, count from 10 backwards in a different language, or try to recite the alphabet backwards. It will help you disconnect from your emotional side, engage your logical brain, and ground you. Also, cold showers are wonderful for emotionally draining days. Don't make any decisions until after you've taken a cold shower. It helps reset your body and mind. If you are stuck on a problem, write it down. 9 out of 10 times, you will simplify and be able to process better what the problem is and help achieve the solution. Story 15. Beets or beet juice can provide more energy and endurance during physical activities and cardio. The difference is extremely noticeable. This is related to getting oxygen to your blood more efficiently. Story 16. Having a coughing fit? Raise your arms above your head and say the alphabet or just say anything really, as long as you keep talking. The coughing will stop much quicker. Have the hiccups? Inhale as much air as you possibly can, and then inhale a little more. Then hold it all in for about 10 to 15 seconds and exhale. Most of the time, this will get rid of the hiccups on the first try, but 2 to 3 tries basically guarantees it. Story 17. Brush your teeth daily. Floss your teeth daily. Fewer or no cavities. Fewer or no expensive root canals. Fewer or no extractions. Saves you money, pain, and your appearance. Dentures really suck. Story 18. I don't know if this is true for everyone, but I find that when you're driving and you start to feel drowsy, snacking on something small like nuts really keeps you awake. For some reason, while you're actively eating, that feeling of drowsiness disappears. Story 19. Stretching every morning when waking up. My grandpa taught me. He is 94 now and still does everything as if he is 50. He is even able to run. Of course, it is also genetics, but a life filled with stretches every morning definitely does not make your body worse, even if it is just for a couple of minutes every morning. Story 20. If you have bad period cramps and no other options, 3 days before it comes, eat a lot of fiber such as vegetables and fruits and drink ginger. It will ease it up and make it more bearable for you. Story 21. Many people have nutrient deficiencies and do not know it. Regularly visit a general physician and get full blood work done, specifically making sure they test for nutritional deficiencies. Properly addressing and solving a deficiency has much more impact than adding in extra nutrition to perform, think, sleep, and so on. On that note, multivitamins are great, use them. To emphasize this, statistically most of you reading this are deficient in vitamin D, even if you are outside a lot. Yes, really, people who work outside all day are still regularly deficient. Blood glucose levels spike approximately 90 minutes after eating. Physical activity and exercise around then will cause your body to not store as much food as body fat. Digestion inhibits sleep, especially deep sleep. Do not eat within a few hours of bedtime. Also, generally speaking, movements as simple as air squats for 30 or 60 seconds periodically during the day are enough to impact metabolism, such as the 90-minute mark I mentioned. Generally, evolution has created many reactions to different situations that cause our bodies either to grow more fat to store long-term energy or to instead grow and develop organs and muscles. Learn them to more efficiently achieve your goals, whatever those goals may be. Cold and heat exposure consistently have more scientific support of substantial health benefits. So ice baths and saunas, or even potentially as little as a super hot shower ending in 30 to 60 seconds of cold, though there is less science on the latter, but it is much more practical to do at the very least. Technically speaking, it only takes about 90 to 120 seconds of muscle contractions per week to trigger muscle growth. Note, this is different from endurance and other things, for example. But if you are trying to add and grow physical muscle tissue, then most workout regimens have you overtraining and actually inhibit the most rapid growth potential. Never forget, keeping you in the gym means you spend more money, which makes the industry more money. Also, one last time, endurance training is a different matter. Overtraining and overstressing your body inhibit healthy progress, and it is very common. You want to challenge your body enough to trigger good responses without dumping stress chemicals into your body. Remember, stress chemicals are for survival, and they do not prioritize optimal health and growth. They prioritize survival in life-threatening situations, which is a very different requirement for the body and mind than ideal health and growth. Story 22. I don't know if it's crazy, but everyone should know you can change your palate. Your palate refers to the kinds of foods you like. Many people may find themselves unhealthy due to a bad diet that stems from disliking vegetables, fruits, nuts, grains, herbs, and other healthy unprocessed foods. If you only ever ate foods like spaghetti with goldfish crackers, chicken tenders, and sweets as a child and as an adult, you might have a hard time eating healthy when you need to. You are not stuck with the palate you're born with. You can train it to like healthier things. You can also train your kids' palates, or at least try. One way to get into healthier food is to order it at a sit-down restaurant if you get the chance. They can make salads and vegetable-based meals taste much better than you'd think. It can teach you simple combinations that work well together for you to imitate, like discovering that basil, tomatoes, and olive oil go together. Another approach is to find one or two vegetables you dislike less than others and start adding them when you prepare food you like. For example, you could put broccoli in macaroni and cheese or add mushrooms to your pizza. Or try dipping pretzels in hummus and hot Cheetos in plain yogurt. Don't worry that it's not different calorie-wise. The point is to train yourself to be okay with unfamiliar tastes and textures. The calories will take care of themselves if you incorporate healthy foods into what you enjoy. Don't underestimate the power of ranch dressing to make things taste good. Maybe you have sensory issues with food. Experiment with ways to cut things up. When I was trying to eat better, I learned that I didn't hate onions when they were diced really small and not too many were used. But long pieces or rings were not possible for me until years later when eating them in a way that was comfortable gradually led me to like them. Take it slow and be near a bathroom. It's normal for healthy foods to cause digestive changes at first if you don't usually eat that way. Story 23. Putting your face or ideally your head in freezing water can alleviate a panic attack. Although how you would get that organized while having one, I don't know. Story 24. Cold showers daily for at least 2 weeks. Start reprogramming your brain into a sense of confidence like you've never seen. The only time I ever felt this effect was with cocaine, but without the overthinking and the following crash. Story 25. Guys, focus on relaxing your butt muscles before you have an orgasm. Actually think about them, relax the whole area. Also, look up edging. Another trick is the opposite. I heard a body hack once that said to focus on clenching your butt right before you climax and to slow down right when you start. I tried it and it was mind-blowing. Try them both and let me know your experience. Story 26. If you feel an impending sneeze and you really don't want to sneeze at that moment, covering your nostrils and breathing through your mouth can stop it from happening. It stops the flow of air, which will alleviate whatever irritant is triggering the sneeze. Story 27. You are physiologically weaker when looking at something pink versus something red. It will work with something as small as a toy teapot, as long as you are at least semi-focused on it. It freaked me out when I first had it done to me as a cheap little bar trick. Story 28. To magically unblock your sinuses if you have congestion or a cold, simply press your tongue hard against the roof of your mouth for 10 seconds. Then relax and press your finger in between your eyebrows for 10 seconds. Then repeat with your tongue against the roof of your mouth and finger in between your eyebrows. If you do this 3 to 4 times, you'll feel your sinuses empty, and the pressure and congestion will disappear. Story 29. 70% of healthy, shapely abs comes from always keeping them flexed. Letting the gut hang out relaxed trains the muscles that they are in a naturally loose state. In my opinion, always keep a tight gut and straight back while sitting, resting, eating, watching TV, or on the train. If you do this, you'll see better results in any effort you put into shaping your midsection. I have had 3 huge weight swings in my life, 30 pounds extra up and then down, and this has helped so much the second and third time getting back into shape. I am also not a gym rat or trainer, just a guy who knows he feels happier when my body is in shape. Story 30. If you have a back injury or a broken rib and have to sneeze, look up. It will hurt way less than hunching down to sneeze. I've had back surgery and my dad had a cracked rib. Confirmed. Story 31. Fellas and other assigned male at birth individuals, when you're done peeing, push up on your taint to force the last few drops to squirt out. Save yourself the uncomfortable feeling and possibly embarrassing stains from them trickling out in your pants. Story 32. To get rid of hiccups, tell yourself sternly, I am not a fish. I don't have gills. This is ridiculous. Stop it. I know, but for me it works almost every time. Story 33. If you ever get a cramp, massage the muscle with a spoon. No, really, the cool metal helps relax it faster, and it actually works better than you would think. Story 34. Triggering dive response. Basically tricking the brain into thinking you've fallen into freezing cold water. The brain instantly sets off a slew of physical responses aimed at preserving life. The practical application is for anxiety, panic, overwhelming emotions, and so on. It's also good for craving management. I was demonstrated this and can confidently say it is astonishingly effective. A full reset of anything that was happening prior. The best way I can describe it is like the Dread movie when the character takes a hit of slow motion with that do sound they use. I mean, not quite that, but simple enough to do. Plunge your face into ice-cold water deep enough that it goes past your temples. Not tap water cold. More like falling through the ice on a frozen lake cold. Which makes this a bit impractical in critical situations, but I've found that slapping anything cold enough to give you a jolt to your temples has some effect. Cheese slices out of the fridge, for example.